Hi, my name is Janelle Healy, and I'll be doing a tutorial on how to use Adobe Premiere Pro CS6. In this tutorial, I'll be explaining how to make slides for certain presentations that you have. So let me just click on it, and this pops up when you first open it. Go ahead and click New Project. And then you can rename it to whatever you like. For this case, I am making wrestling slides, so I'll just call it wrestling slides and click this browse. So you can pick where you want to save it to. In my case, I'm going to go to desktop, go to school assignments, media tech, project 3, and choose that and hit OK. Once you do that, this will pop up. All the settings are good, just leave it name sequence 1, go ahead and hit OK. And this is what should pop up, a new blank document. Now once you get Premiere Pro up, you're going to want to go to File, Import, to get some video files into Premiere Pro. In my case, I have them underneath Backgrounds, which is on the desktop. So then I go to Desktop, find my Backgrounds folder, and I want clock and blood splats to be imported into my project. So then you hit Import, and wait for it to load in there. And they show up underneath the project title. So you just click and drag and drop it over into the sequence on the bottom, and it will have, in my case, it has an audio, so it goes into video 1 and audio 1. Okay, so now I want another one, and I want that to go on top of the one I have already. So I click, drag and drop, and it goes into video 2 and audio 2. So then when I play, it goes from one video into the next video. It should look something kind of like that. So we're going to start by going to Import, and we're going to get the video text that I want on my desktop in the Backgrounds folder. Right there. This time it's called Blood Dripping from Text. And again, went to your project folder. So we're going to start by putting what I want for the background, and that is the clock. And then we want this blood dripping to go on the top of it. So put that in video 2. It's kind of small, so we're going to just double click on it and scale it to be a little bigger. It's a little too big, maybe. Descale it a little. About right there. Move it up. Perfect. Now I want all that background stuff to go away, so we're going to go to Effects, Video Effects, Keying, and on the way bottom it's called Ultra Key. So you just drag and drop that into there. Hit this little dropper thing, and we're going to hit this tan, because we want that gone. Hit Alpha Control, and we want everything in the black to be completely black. So then we hit this, and we just kind of mess around with some of the settings that are underneath here. See how it makes it whiter? We want it to be black. So that doesn't really seem to be doing the trick. So let's try highlights. Again, does not seem to work. Let's try shadow. There we go. Got rid of all that white stuff. Let's move back again, change it back to composite, and you can see that's what it would look like. Since there's 2 colors, we need to drag another one in and do the same thing on the blue one. And maybe do a little touch-up editing on that one as well. When that is done, you can play it and see that is what it would look like. And the text would be over the clock. Now let's make this little window down here a little bigger. It's kind of hard to see what we're working with. Oh, too big. There we go, that's about right. And then again, you can just play it, see how it looks, admire your work. And that is how you add something with a background over a video. And I would also add another text slide coming up. For this video, I'll be making a new wrestling slide. So I have my video ready and imported for the background, and that's kind of what it looks like. And I'm going to need a title slide. So to get that title slide, I'm going to go to File, New, Title. And it doesn't matter what you name the title, just hit OK. And a screen like this should pop up with your background already in it. And you see how your cursor has like the eye thing? You just kind of drag it and make yourself a text box. Kind of made mine a little small here. Let me make that a little bigger. So there's your text box. You just click inside of it and then you can start typing. For this case, I'm going to be making my title have the words out of bounds. Now you can see it kind of got cut off a little bit, so I'm going to click on the pointer arrow and move it over a little. Still not quite seeing it, so I'll just make it 2 lines here. And center it. And kind of hard to read, so we're going to go down to the bottom and choose a different font size or style. There's tons of styles to choose from. There's just a couple. You can play around with them, try a couple of them out. I personally like this one the best, so this is the one we're gonna go with. The color is actually pretty good, but if you wanted to, on the right hand side by the color underneath fill, you can change the color. Now it's a little small, so I'm gonna highlight it, go up here to the top and make it a little bigger. Maybe center it. It looks a little off center. Try to center it a little. And that looks about good. Maybe just a little more. Okay. Once you got it good, you just hit the exit button and it shows up underneath the project over here in the bottom left. So I'm going to drag it over and put it in the video 2 slot. And I don't want it to start right away, so I'm going to move it over a little more. And it pops up and now you got a title on it. But I need to make my window a little, zoom it in here a little bit. And you do that just by pinching your 2 fingers on your mouse pad and moving them away. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And it seems kind of boring. It just pops up, doesn't do anything. So I'm going to go to the effects controls by make sure you have the title selected. And we're going to make it have some motion. So first, you want to hit the position and scale to make it where you want it to be when you first start off. But I want it to come in. So I'm going to move it out of my frame so you can't see it. And then we're going to make the position and scale start right there. Now we move this little yellow tab at the top over a little more. And then you move your text box to where you want it to end up. So I want it to end up back at the center of the screen. So just center it up a little bit here. Perfect. And then you hit the position and scale buttons again. So that little diamond shows up. Now when you watch it, it appears to be moving in. And I want it to scale. So we're gonna make it scale in too. And that was pretty cool, but not as good as we wanted. I want it to spin too. So we're going to go to rotation. Just kind of mess with the dials a little bit and spin them. I want it to go in a complete circle. Get it centered. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to get it centered again. And there we go. And we're gonna hit the little rotation thing so that makes it a keyframe. Now let's watch it. See how it moves in, it scales, but it doesn't rotate. And the thing I forgot to do is set the key point at its original position so then it does spin. So that means we need to despin it. In other words, make it back to when it was 0 degrees. Went a little past it. There we go. So now let's watch it. Seems to spin. Now they're a little close together and I want it to spin a little longer, so I'm just going to drag it and spin it out a little more. Seems good. And let's just make this title on the bottom again a little longer and make the whole background not so long. Make it about 10 seconds. There we go. So now let's watch the whole thing. Pretty cool. Now the thing is, I don't like that the title spins right away. So we're going to change that up a little bit. We're going to just kind of drag this little key point over and drag this key point over so they don't spin all together. That looks much better. And that is how I made this wrestling slide move in, scale, and spin. So my videos are already exported and I want to do this finger waving. And since it's not very long, we're gonna put 2 in there. So look, something like this. Very cool. Now I want some title or text, so I go to File, New, Title. And again, don't worry about naming it. A screen similar to this should show up. And the reason that black box is so small is because the hand that we're using is very small. So the text is going to have to be smaller than usual. Drag your text box. And this text is going to say no stalling. Again, don't really like the font. Well, here, let me get so you can see it all. Don't really like the font style that's being used for this, so we're going to select it and we're going to try a couple of these out. I like this one the best. So I'm going to select it and we're going to change the color again on the way right. Select this little box. I want it to be blue, like a Trojan blue. Oh, looks about close enough. Make the text box or the text smaller so we can fit her in there. This little text box doesn't need to be quite so big, so we can make this smaller, a little easier to deal with. Again, we have to keep making this smaller. Still a little too big, so keep selecting it, keep decreasing the size. That should be about good. It all fits in there. So you just exit out and it again appears on the bottom left. Just drag it into title 2, and now you have no stalling. I don't really like how the fingers are going sideways. So we're gonna double click on the picture, go to the effect controls, and underneath the motion and rotation. So again, make sure this yellow thing at the top of your video is over the right video. And you just spin it 90 degrees. Can be a little tricky to get it right on, but here. There we go. Now it's at 90 degrees and it spins that way. Now, because I want the other video to do the same thing, I'm just gonna delete it by hitting the delete key. Right click on this, click on this one, do copy, click where I want the new one to go with the little yellow tab, go to edit and paste, and just slide this over to match up again. And now they're facing upright. Now, I don't like this white background that you see. So I'm going to double click on the title, go to the effects control, and over in the effects, go to video effects, keying, and color key. And you're just gonna, here, let me get some of these minimized a little. So I'm just gonna drag this color key on over, hit this little eyedropper, and click on the white and make the color template different. And there you go. You got rid of the black. Do the same thing on the next one. Color key, eyedropper on the white, and the color template. And there you go. Now the title, I don't really like how the title's set up here, so I'm just going to do some final editing. Maybe make it a little bigger, change the font style, different color. A little too small. We're going to make it bigger here. Looks good. And here's the final. And that is how you make that slide. I want to place a video inside some text. So first I need to import the backgrounds that I will be using. In this case, I have them underneath downloads. And just hold down Control and select all the videos that you want and hit import. And it imports the file to your project window on the bottom left. Now I kind of want this rainbow looking one, so I'm going to set it in video 2 for now. And you'll see why later. And then I already made the text that I want, so I'm just going to drag that into video 3. Now go under video effects, keying, and get the track matinee. And while I'm under that, I select this to video 3 and hit this one to the llama. And you can see it puts the background behind the text. Now, that's pretty cool. Now, I want the text to move a little bit here, so I'm going to select the text and then go underneath motion. And first, we're going to have where the text is not on the page, so we're going to click it so we can move it. and move it on out of here. About right up here, so you can't see it. Then we gotta make sure we hit this little position key thing, so you can, right here. So it locks it in place. And I want it to be smaller and then grow bigger, so we're gonna change the scale a little bit here. Now we're gonna move this tab over to about a little less than halfway. Right there. And we want this text to move in to the front and center and to get bigger. So we place it about right here. Drag the corner, make it larger. That's a little too large. It's a little too big, it gets cut off, so we're just gonna adjust the text box a little bit here. Alright, there, looks good. And then we hit the little toggle animation so it stays locked in place, and then you watch it. Looks good. And then once you're finished, you go to File, Export, and export it as a movie. And make sure you save your project as you work. Thanks for watching.